Nate.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for coming and meeting me today. I'd like to start by letting you know that everything that's said here is confidential, unless I feel that you may be potential harm to yourself or someone else. Just want to begin with that. Do you have any questions about that? Okay. What brings you into counseling today?
Just been getting frustrated. And I'm just, stressed out from work and school, but coming home after a long day. I live with my roommate right now, and I feel like a lot of the times I have my own things that are going on, and I'm trying to sort out, and he's got his things, but I feel like I'm usually taking the burden of whatever he's got going on in his life, and I don't have the time for myself, even just getting home after a long day, so I'm just trying to figure out how I can alleviate those issues.
So it seems to me that you have a lot going on in your life as far as work and school and stuff, and you have a long day. By the time you get home, you may have some frustrations of your own, and going home to a roommate who may also frustrate you at times is difficult, right?
It's true. When you get home, it's kind of like, now this is your me time, and even my me time is not really my time. I have to now go on to whatever somebody else is going on there. So there's very little time that I have throughout my day to focus on what I have to do.
Okay, so typically what does a typical day for you consist of?
Wake up at 6 in the morning, out of my house by 7. I have an hour commute. My drive is my me time. I have an hour commute from Queens to Long Island. I work in a bank, which is very stressful in itself because it's a sales-oriented and a service-oriented job. So at any given moment, you have people coming off the street to be serviced in whatever they need financially. And then you also, on top of that burden, you have sales that you have to meet in terms of your job and making numbers for your paycheck and everything like that, monthly quotas. And then I come to school and dealing with preparing for trying to graduate and separate myself from my job that has nothing really to do with where I want to be in a school. So dealing with that and juggling back and forth and traveling then from Long Island to the Bronx, and then coming home at 9:30 at night, and then having to cook dinner, clean my apartment, and do my schoolwork and get everything done. I guess I'm a perfectionist, that I want to make sure that everything is the way it should be, but it's tough to keep all those balls in the air at one time, I guess.
It seems that you definitely have a lot on your plate right now. Throughout your typical day, what do you do? What do you enjoy out of everything that goes on your day? What do you enjoy most?
I like coming to school because it's kind of my break from the thing that I don't like, which being at work, and that's why I'm trying to separate from that. I do like being in school. I like the people that I've met at school, and then on the weekends I like see my girlfriend. I go and hang out with her on the weekend, hang out with her family. So that's kind of like my only time to myself.
Okay, so pretty much it just seems that you have a lot going on. The commute that you have, school, your job. Is now the job that you're in right now, are you happy there? Or is this something that you're just in for right now to get you through school? Or?
I'm happy with the people that I work with. If I didn't have those people that I worked with, I probably wouldn't stay there. I like my clients. I've been there for over 2.5 years, so it works that way. But what I'm doing, it's not where I see myself. It's not where I can use my skills the most, so I feel like I'm not in a good fit, so to speak. I'm not a sales-oriented person. I'm way more into helping people and listening to what they have going on and helping to see, where I can give myself to.
Right, so typically, you would like to do something where you can help people, where the job you're right now doesn't have anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. You're looking towards moving out of that job. At the bank mm-hmm. is where you work? Mm-hmm. It's understandable. What other things do you find yourself doing throughout the day that maybe you can step back from and think about, or take yourself away from your daily routine? I think may help.
I think in my drive I kind of reflect, which is weird that I'm doing this as I'm driving, but it is my only time that I have to myself. to where I could think about leaving work and then transitioning into school. I feel like I have to wear a lot of hats throughout the day, that I have to make myself, at one point I'm in the business world, I'm suited up and I'm dealing with customers and I'm in control there, and then I come to school and I have to be, into my studies, and then even when I go home, and that's why I was saying stuff about my roommate, when I go home, you want to be a good friend to your roommate, and I feel like I at all costs will not avoid confrontation, but I try and just appease for the sake of keeping things peaceful. But at times, like at home, that's the time where you want to unwind from everything. And when I get home, things that go on between me and my roommate, it's weird living with a friend, especially one that you've lived with for like over 8 years, 9 years throughout college. You become sort of like brothers, but you're also best friends. So there's that weird dynamic in there, and especially because he tends to be a very defensive person, to where things might not even be directed toward him, but he will take it in a way that it wasn't. So it's tough to overcome that and try and step back and realize that, it's maybe something that's just going on with him as opposed to anything that you're saying, so.
Right, so he's not exactly taking to your opinions or something you may have to say, he's taking it more offensively.
It won't even be anything, that's the thing, is that sometimes it's not even directed toward him, it might not even be said to him, and he'll confuse it sometimes. I think he's just, that's the type of personality. He's on the defense a lot compared to just maybe taking a step back and understanding what anyone's saying.
Are there any instances or examples maybe you could give me, what is, in what ways does he take things you say, why is he on the defense and how is he on the defense?
I don't know, I'm trying to think of an actual example. Right. It would make a lot more sense, I feel like, if I said an example. Maybe, I really don't know. I mean, just the fact that, he's got his own things going on also in terms of school and work, and to have to listen to his issues is okay, that's fine, I understand, because I have them too. But it seems like whenever I voice my opinion on things, it's not of the same weight. It's always, it's kind of like a competition, and I don't want to get into that, well, your stuff is a lot harder than where I'm at, and stuff like that. I'm trying to think, let me think about an example I'll get back to him.
So I mean, overall what I'm hearing is that you have your daily routine, it seems to be pretty packed, you have a lot going on. Typically on a normal day, your downtime or alone time is when you're actually in the car driving back and forth around. By the time you get home at the end of the day, you're tired, overworked is what I'm hearing, and you and your roommate may at times, whether it's you or him, you're kind of staying away from the interaction, is that right? But not just kind of avoiding certain things with him, or?
Yeah, I mean, I know, after living with him for so many years, I know what buttons are gonna trigger him and what are not. For instance, here's an example. There was one time in the shower, we have a weird shower that the outside has the drainage on the outside of the tub, and it's not like a flip switch in the inside, it's like some kind of levee system, it's old. And I came home and the tub was filled, as if the thing pushed down. Right. And I came in, I was like, whoa, look at all this water in here, what the heck happened? Just like that. And he immediately took it as, whoa man, I didn't do anything, it must have fell down, take it easy. Got very upset at the fact that all I realized was that there was water filled up. Yeah, exactly. Or there wouldn't be toothpaste or something like that. And he would get angry at the fact that he thought that I was saying that he didn't do something, when in fact I was just stating whatever was going on. It never was directed toward him, just wanted to get clarification on it, and he took it as he did something wrong.
Right, so you may be interpreting maybe what you're saying in a different way than what you actually mean, where you were just coming out saying, whoa, look at this, why is it like this, and he's on the defense thinking you were maybe blaming him for that, right? So typically, do you guys both do chores like within the home, or like is there a reason why maybe he would feel he's on the defense, or is this typically just his behaviors
I mean,
from what you've experienced?
I guess he does when he has to, but when it comes down to it, the majority of the cleaning and chores that are done by me. But that's just because I won't live a certain way I want it to be, to my standard. I want it to be clean, so
Right.
I don't really care about that. But that was just one example of him being defensive. There's a lot of instances to where he's taking things very personally, and I mean, it is what it is. I don't really get too much into it because I'd rather live in a more of a peaceful environment. We have to just get through it. He's like I say, he's like a best friend and a brother. So at times, even with a sibling, even living with my brother, you butt heads with them, and you know how they are, and it's a matter of trying to figure out, you know, their personality compared to yours, I guess. But it does get overwhelming sometimes.
Right. So I mean, overall, is it kind of just at the end of the day, do you feel just kind of run down and things may like trigger you, or you just kind of come home and relax and you don't want to have to deal with other things at the end of the day? Is that kind of where we're going with it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, I guess right now I just figure that I'm in a rat race right now and I'm doing a lot of things and there is an end to it. It's just that the more and more you keep going on, it's just you want to see that light, and people say, oh yeah, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you know, it's a matter of getting there, and it's been a long process. Like, it's been a good 2.5 years that it's been nonstop, so it's tough at times, and you have to.
So where do you, in your opinion, where do you see yourself in, let's say, the next like 5 years? Where are you heading towards?
I want to be a counselor at a school. I want to be coaching. I essentially would hope to be married by then, living on my own somewhere. I don't want to be living, you know, renting or anything like that. I would like to eventually have my own house. I know it's tough financially right now, but I guess I set my standards pretty high. I don't know if I'll get there, but I'm going to try. So.
Well, it seems that you're definitely doing what you want to do and what you need to do in order to get where you want to be. So despite all the frustrations and things that may be happening now, you're making those steps to get where you want.
I think what I would want to work on is I feel like at times I want to say things, I want to be assertive in those instances with my roommate in terms of being able to communicate to him in a way that doesn't come across as blaming or pointing fingers,
right.
And just to voice my opinion. I feel like at times I eat things in terms of I just, you know, silence myself and don't say anything for the sake of not causing a problem. But there should be a way of voicing my opinion without it being a confrontation. And I think that just taking it all in, and then I eventually, to take it all in, then it burst out and I exploded in a way that probably is unjust. So that's why I kind of want to be able to work with explaining myself to him in a way that is taken a little bit easier, knowing that he's a defensive person also.
So can you think of now maybe anything that you can maybe do on your end to maybe open up the communication lines better, or maybe not come off in a way where he may think he may come on the defense mode? Is there like maybe something that you can work on?
I mean, I've tried asking a question as opposed to just stating the observation. I've tried to nicely ask, given an instance. I had a friend sleep over recently because he had a work thing that he had to do close by my apartment. And when I woke up, my friend said, "Did you hear that noise this morning?" I said, "No." I said, "I thought something fell out by you." And he said, "No, I thought it was actually in your room." And I said, "No, it wasn't." So my roommate had woken up and I had said, "Hey, did something fall in your room? Because I heard a loud noise." And that was my way of asking, as opposed to saying, "Yo, something fell in your room?" Immediately as I asked him, he said, "No, nothing fell in my room. Why would you say that?" And he got very defensive. Nobody else got defensive at first, and there really isn't anything to get defensive about there. Who cares if something fell? Just wanted to know. But even that, I felt like caused a problem. So that's why I'm kind of confused. Like, do I ask? Do I state things? Do I keep it quiet? Do I confront him in the same aggressive way that he confronts me, is that more of his speed? So that's kind of like where I'm confused on.
Right, I can maybe see, like, from what you're telling me, that maybe you can work on approaching him, or maybe when a situation like that arises again, if a situation like that arises again, how would you maybe think you would approach it on your end?
I think I still would ask. I think I still would ask questions about whatever it is, and I would do it in a non-aggressive manner. I feel like I would ask, in a way that would be taken lightly. But then also, I feel like when the response comes back from him, in terms of, no, and get very defensive, I seem to back off and be like, well, no, I was just asking, I didn't know, like, I would take it as, forget it, it's not a big deal. But then there's some times where I want to jump back and be like, why are you getting so mad? Like, that's not really a big deal. Why would you get mad at something like that? I want to say that sometimes, but I don't.
And if that's something you feel you would like to do, which is different than what you're used to doing, that may have a different outcome. Or maybe you should ask him, hey, am I approaching you the wrong way? Or did I say that in a way where you're getting defensive? And just maybe hear what he has to say, and maybe you guys can figure out where it's coming from.
I think that's a good idea. I think that I've never really asked him, why do you act like that? Why do you say things like that? And I've kind of I would do one or the other. I would just be submissive and I wouldn't say anything, and be like, yeah, whatever, and just let it go, because I don't really care as much. Or I would then get, even more aggressive and be like, you're such a defensive person. I would call him that, and that would trigger something else. So maybe just asking, why do you respond that way to me would be a good.
Right. Instead of maybe reacting back and forth to one
Right.
another, just coming right out, maybe saying something and figuring out, like, is it something I'm doing? Or, maybe you'll find out it is. Maybe it's not anything you're
Right.
doing. But that could be maybe a step in the direction as to figuring out what it could be. So that's something maybe, would you want to work on that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay, well, our time here is almost done. I would like to see you again, if you're willing to, next week. We can set up time.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you.
That's good.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah, I was like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Stop.
Which one? The
Stop
recorder?
on the inside. Is there a stop, like the box?
I'm like an idiot. Wait, am I missing something? Oh, wait.